with wide range of inhomogeneity, TiO 1 plus minus delta, where delta can be as large as 0.2, giving rise to disordered effects both in the titanium sublattice as well as the oxygen sublattice. But these two systems I will not be talking about today. I'll be, if time permits, discuss these three, which I think give rise to three completely different manifestations of disordered effects. So let's get on to the specific systems and discuss their electronic structure. And I'll give introduction to each of the systems as I come to that topic. First, let me talk about strontium titanate with oxygen vacancies. Of course, this particular system needs very little introduction in this group, which has been doing really pioneering sort of work in electron-doped strontium titanate. Dr. Bando, Dr. Ayura, and also Dr. Inoue, they have been looking at strontium titanate in presence of electron doping and have reported many very interesting results. We became interested in this several years ago, around 1993, and I'll tell you why. Basically, you can take SrTiO3 without this minus delta. It's a cubic perovskite, very nice crystal structure, and it's a wide bandgap insulator. And titanium, which is in the 4+ valency, is in the D0 state. So there's no D electron. Oxygen P band is fully filled, P6 configuration. So basically you have a fully filled oxygen P band, an entirely empty titanium D band, and you get a band insulator. This is what I've written down. D0 configuration necessarily implies a band insulator. So there is no correlation effect in SrTiO3. See, first we are trying to understand disordered effect in the limit where correlation effects are expected to be minimal. So you start with a D0, which is a band insulator, and create some oxygen vacancies. Oxygen vacancy creation is equivalent to putting in some electrons into the D0 system. If you control delta to be small, then you are putting in a few electrons into the D band. So there are very few electrons, and when there are very few electrons, you expect the system to be uncorrelated because it's in the dilute concentration of metallic regime. So electrons don't get to see each other. If there's one electron here, another electron will be far away because there are very few electrons, and correlation effect does not play a role. So you basically expect such a system with electron doping into the D0 system should act as a band metal with the Fermi energy moving, controlled by the amount of electron you do. So this is the expectation. And if you look at the transport property and magnetic property of such system, electron-doped strontium titanate, they do indeed appear as if they are band metallic state. Now, Fujimori et al. In 1992 found a very surprising result in a very similar system. They again took strontium titanate. Instead of creating oxygen vacancy for electron doping, they doped lanthanum in the strontium side, which is exactly equivalent way of doping electrons into the system. When they did that and they looked at the electron spectroscopy of it, looking at the valence band, so these dots are experimental spectrum, essentially giving you a picture of the occupied density of states, or more rigorously, the spectral weight, or in other words, the imaginary part of the Green's function of the problem. Then they found there is this huge big peak, which is the oxygen 2 peak. There is a sort of a theorem in experimental spectroscopy people that only spectroscopy people know, which says that if a peak is very intense and you get signal to noise ratio very quickly, then that peak is not interesting. Only those peaks which are very difficult to get and very bad signal to noise are the ones that are interesting. So one is not actually interested in this, though you get very quickly that intensity. One is interested in these states close to the Fermi energy. The scale, energy scale 0 corresponds to the Fermi energy. When they doped 0.2 electrons for every titanium, they found the